Well, welcome back to another edition of The Morning You.
Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee want out of Man United as soon as January. They're not playing games. Man United are out of the Carabao Cup already. There's no Europe. There's one game a week, and they've found their game time extremely limited. Kobbie Mainoo has also been told at times, he needs to quicken it up in that central midfield area. He doesn't really fit what Ruben Amorim wants. He's struggling to find a place for him. We've seen what Kobbie can do in a three-man midfield, but in a two-man midfield, it has not worked. This is a kid who's played in the FA Cup final for Man United, scored in the FA Cup final, played in the Euros final for England, a meteoric rise, and he's now stagnated in his early career. And Joshua Zirkzee, well, let's be honest, we bought him as a striker, even though he's not a striker. He's a 10. Then we bought 2 new 10s in the summer and put our best 10 into central midfield, and basically he can't get a kick. And it's World Cup year, and these guys want minutes, whether it's loans till the end of the season so they can play, or whether it's permanent moves. They want action. Man United fans, I want to know from you, what should happen here? Is it a simple case of Kobbie Mainoo, buckle up, work harder, and do what you need to do? Or can you see his point? Can you see his point? He can't play ahead of Ugarte, who's terrible. Can you see that? And the likes with Zirkzee, is it a case of, well, you're not better than Sesko, you're not better than Kuna, Mbumo, not even Mason Mount. So that's just how it goes. Or do you feel his pain as well? I want to know what you guys are thinking in the comments below. Let me know. It's all going off. It's all going off, Owen. And you guys need to smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will say this. That is how you start a video, Owen. You don't start in silence or anything like that. You have the sound on. You make sure that everybody can hear you. And you get off to a good start. So it's just good practice for you to pick up on if you're ever doing a solo show. Because I like to each one teach one. I've been in this space a long time, so there's things you can learn from me. So make sure that you start like that, on point, crisp, sharp. They can hear you, they can see you. And it's all good.
Yep, exactly. I'm learning from a genius, and we are going to be discussing a lot this morning. I've learned a lot already about broadcasting from Flex. And we're going to be talking about Kobbie. We're going to be talking about Zirkzee. We're going to be talking about how they fit in, how maybe they don't fit in to the Manchester United team, just like I used to not be able to fit into my jeans or clothes. But now I can, and here's how.
Today's video is sponsored by our friends at Oxford Natural and their all-new natural supplement, Optimum Day and Night. Thousands across the UK, USA, and beyond are smashing their health goals with Oxford Natural. Optimum Day gives you steady energy, curbs your cravings, and keeps your metabolism firing all day. Optimum Night helps you relax, get restorative sleep, recover, and keep burning fat while you rest. It's not a magic pill, but it will help you reach your health goals. Check out some of the incredible results. 2 of our own, Owen, lost over 100 pounds in 10 months, and KG dropped 30 pounds in 4 months. In 8 months, football legend Michael Owen lost 35 pounds, and Robbie from AFTV, Don Robbie, lost over 80 pounds. And in 6 months, Anita, an award-winning immigration lawyer, lost 44 pounds, and Linda, a law firm executive, lost over 50 pounds. No gimmicks, no needles, just results. Oxford Natural, let's get to work.
Yes, let's get to work indeed. Be sure to scan the QR code. You can see it right there in the sidebar. You can subscribe. You can save up to 70% off. All you've got to do is use the code UV. You can get optimized. You can get your Optimum Day, which is good for your weight loss goals. Right there. You can get your Optimum Night, which is good for your restorative sleep. You can purchase them separately or combined. Stack them together. Achieve your weight loss goals. Achieve your health goals. You can get optimized today. Links in the video description below. It's pinned in the chat as per usual. Shout out to Oxford Natural by Gowan Life. Yeah, that's
your best work.
That
was your best segue ever. That was brilliant. That was your best work, I have to say.
Well,
there's no hating on that whatsoever. That was top stuff.
SJ, mate. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Award,
real broadcasting. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Right. Absolutely bang on, bro. Bang on.
If that's not worth a like, I don't know what is.
Exactly. And straight off the bat, Bruno's in the chat. Shout out Bruno Rodriguez. He says, square pegs, round holes. He's in competition with Bruno. He himself is playing out of position. Same applies if he plays instead of Ugarte or Casemiro regarding Kobbie Mainoo. And shout out to Bruno. He's been a member for 27 months as well. Yeah. Let's get into it, Owen. Let's get into it. Speaking of real journalism, says Lil Yo-Yo. Yes, that was real journalism. And now we've got even more real journalism because there are some reports that are talking about Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee exits.
Yes, looks like there is not some happiness regarding a lack of play time, a lack of game time from both Kobbie Mainoo and Joshua Zirkzee. So Sully Talks, good, well-known ITK on social media, is saying that Kobbie Mainoo is unhappy about his current situation at Manchester United regarding a lack of game time and feels he's not being appreciated. If the situation doesn't improve, he will ask for a loan exit this January, which of course he did in the summer. Several times. The main, pushback and reason for this by Kobbie is because he wants to play in the World Cup next year, and with a lack of game time, feels that he may be left out by England head coach Thomas Tuchel. Joshua Zirkzee, he's in a similar situation. This one coming from the Mail's Nathan Salt and Chris Wheeler, saying Joshua Zirkzee is looking to leave Manchester United in January. Coming from the Mail, bit of a raunchy picture there from
I was thinking that when
the guys at United District. As right, the nerve, by the way, of KG said he could outrun him. It says Joshua Zirkzee is looking for an exit route in January. He is deeply frustrated at his situation, and a move in the January transfer window is seen as absolutely crucial if he wants to play in the World Cup. Now, you're probably going to see quite a lot of this, not just necessarily at Manchester United, Flex. You're going to see it from a lot of different clubs and a lot of different players, aren't you? Whereby they assess their play time or lack thereof. They go, right, January, I need to go out and play, because whether they have or haven't had discussions with their international head coaches, and they say, look, World Cup's on the horizon. It's not looking good for you, mate. And I guess Kobbie and Zirkzee fall into that category. We're playing less games than we usually would. We're in no European competitions. We're in no Carabao Cup. We've only got the Premier League and the FA Cup, one game a week. And there's a bit of panic. There's a bit of panic because it feels like there's a select group of players that you can kind of tell are going to get a lot of game time, and some others that are not at Manchester United. So Kobbie's situation is different to Zirkzee because Kobbie will get on more than Joshua Zirkzee will. So far, it feels like, anyways. Kobbie's made more appearances. Zirkzee feels completely out in the wilderness at this point, doesn't it? But yeah. So I can understand it. I can understand it. And do you know what? Do you know what does surprise me, Flex? It surprises me a little bit. There are some that are a bit angry with Kobbie Mainoo.
Yeah.
Are a bit angry. There is this kind of, how dare he? How dare he want to play football? Or how dare he ask for minutes? And I'm going to be honest, I don't really get that. I don't really get, and for those in the chat, and maybe they can explain it to me. Can someone explain why they would be upset with Kobbie Mainoo in this? Because I put myself in, I try and put myself as best as I can in the same situation as Kobbie, and I'd be like, well, I would want to play football too to try and get to the World Cup. Like, I don't really see what's. Am I crazy there to suggest that I would want to play football? I mean, because I think it's mistaken. Like, Kobbie's bashing down the door and going, "Put me in the Man United team. I should be playing." But I don't think it's that. I don't think Kobbie's like going, I'm Kobbie Mainoo, I should be playing for Manchester United. I see it as, I think Kobbie's just going, well, if you don't want to play me here, that's totally fine. I just need to play. I just even on loan. Can I go out on loan because I need to get some minutes? Well, otherwise I'm not going to go to the World Cup. Like, I don't see the issue in that.
No, I don't personally. There is a lot that's more pushing towards, because again, we want to make sure we're not Player FC anymore, and for the right reasons. We want to make sure we're not that, and we have gone probably too far the other side. Even with this horrible record we've got under Amarim, where we've probably gone too far the other side of like being manager FC of like, no. If there's any player who's not on board, I want to fight for his place. Yeah, see you later. It's getting like that. And I've seen even some, listen, when on the radio, you never know. Sometimes people call up trying to troll or whatever. But I was in a discussion, I say not an argument, with one United fan. I had to defend Kobe. He was like, nah, his attitude's poor. As soon as he's not playing, he just wants out. He wants to leave, F off, basically. Let him go. He didn't say that, but basically, see you later. And for me, I don't see that. I see somebody who actually is not content in just saying, well, I'm at my boyhood club, so I'm just happy to be here because, I got a contract and my name's Kobe Mainoo and I've played already and I've won and I'm happy with that. No, he wants more. He wants to continue. And actually, in the grand scheme of things, he's achieved a lot, but also not a lot, if you get what I mean. And the meteoric rise is where you've achieved a lot in a short space of time. You spoke about it. We all know about the rise of Kobe Mainoo. And actually, it's probably hampered him. Doing that much, that quickly, and then getting injuries and afterwards and not being able to follow it up, is probably worse than doing something like what Adam Wharton's doing, which is a slow, steady, and let's be honest, he's won an FA Cup as well, by the way. Do you know what I mean? Against the same opposition. So you was probably better off having a slower, gradual rise than what we saw, because what's happened is he's got it all so fast, and it was in a time when Man United obviously were still poor, and he's a revelation, goes on to the England team, is a revelation, ever so close to getting European glory, and then a mixture of injuries and a manager change, and he needs more games. He needs more. He needs to keep developing. He's nowhere near developed. He's just had a really, really good period where you can see some of the talent that he has that can be developed, but he hasn't been able to develop it yet. And he's had a taste of it. The guy's been in a European final. The kid's been in a European final. He's played in an FA Cup final. So to sit on the bench week in, week out, getting, and I'm going to quote because I don't want to just make things up, 45 minutes against Burnley because Cunha came off and that was what it needed. 28 minutes against City when we was already like 2-0 down, I think. 3 minutes against Chelsea. 24 minutes against Brentford. When, don't get me wrong, we were already losing that game and not looking great. And 13 minutes against Sunderland. Now, the pushback is, well, you got 24 minutes there to do something amazing against Brentford and win us the game. Instead, you gave the ball away and made us lose 3-1. There's people that will say, well, you had 28 minutes, basically half an hour against City to do something special when we were 2-0 down and the whole team's playing shit. And I said the other day, didn't I? And I brought it up. I said, guys, I just want to say this on the red carpet. Kobe Mainoo, I can see it and feel it when I'm looking at him. His rhythm is all off. Like he's so far off it. And that's a mixture of confidence, which we always see happen. It's a mixture of no match rhythm, coming on for 20 minutes here. And probably is another down to as well. The third one, which some people agree with, some people don't. I don't want to be here. You're not going to play me. I'm not going to get any starts. I'm not going to get any consecutive game time to really build up some momentum. And I'm coming in cold every single time. And because he is young and needs to develop, like we say he does, he needs to play games. So if he can't play games here, how can you be mad at him for wanting to leave?
Yeah, and this was kind of the thing here. CH says it kind of speaks to his mentality. If he's prioritizing England over his boyhood club United, it's his choice. But I expect him to fight at United for a season or two. I don't see it as that. I don't think he's prioritizing England over United. I think he just wants to play. I don't see it. I'd be more concerned if Kobe Mainoo was just content just to sit on the bench and be like, I'm cool here. I'll miss out on a World Cup because I'm at Man United. That would be
no ambition. It's not playing.
We've dealt with that, and that's why I said I don't think it's Kobe being like screw United. I think it's Kobe just being like I want to stay at United. That's why I asked to go out on loan. I didn't ask to leave. I asked to go out on loan because I ultimately want to stay and want to play. If I'm not going to get the game time, then I'll go out on loan and I'll come back. I'll prove myself that way because that's maybe a bit of a fairer fight than competing with Bruno. This is why I kind of had the back and forth with KG about on the red carpet on Monday, because his suggestion was, well, maybe in those minutes he should go and prove himself.
Yeah, he's got to do better. He's got to do better in the minutes.
But like you mentioned before, but it's not a fair fight because even if Kobe came on and did really well, if he's competing with Bruno's going to start the next game because Bruno doesn't get dropped. So I just, like I said, I don't really see the issue on Cobby's side that much, because if I was him, I'd be the same. I'd want to. I don't see it as Cobby's going to Ruben Amorim being like, you have to play me in this team. This isn't a new concept, by the way. People have forever knocked on the manager's door and say, what's my game time looking like? Oh, I've not been playing that many games at the moment. Have you got a plan for me, this, that, and the other? That's not new. Everyone's always done that. When you've got a World Cup on the horizon, Jack Grealish at Man City, you could make certainly a strong argument of him. He didn't deserve to play because he went there for 100 million. He hadn't done shit. But he still needed to leave because he was like, well, I need to go out on loan because I want to prove myself and go play at the World Cup. And that's what he's done. He's gone to Everton. And people are saying how well he's doing at the moment, right? This isn't a new concept. I think maybe because it's
happened for ages.
But probably because it's an academy player, it's Man United. We immediately
they're saying he should be humble. He should be humble and just be happy you're here.
We immediately turn it into, you should be grateful that you're here, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, talking out both sides of our mouth, when you do have these players that are happy just to sit around, just happy to be there, we criticize them. How dare you be so confident and be happy to be here and just be happy you're at Manchester United, right? You don't even deserve to wear the shirt or anything like that. Heaven forbid they then knock on the door and go, I'd like some extra game time. If I can't get that, I'm more than happy to leave out on loan. I don't want to leave, but I'll go out on loan and then I can come back and maybe things will change. Players would have left by that point. Maybe it's the best thing for me. How dare you? How dare you want to leave and go and play football and develop and not sit on the bench for a season? So I don't really see the issue in it that much, unless there is a bigger plan at play here when it comes to Cobby that maybe has or hasn't been explained to him. I know some people say, AFCON, and when AFCON happens, Bruno will be moved forward, and Cobby will get into the team at that point.
Bruno will be moved forward, and then Ugarte and Casemiro play all the games.
Maybe, but this kind of like the suggestion that Cobby's got this level of entitlement because he wants to play football. You don't make it to the top level without that kind of. You got to back yourself. Of course you do. You got to back yourself. And on top of that, it's not like he's going in there putting Ruben Amorim in a headlock and being like, play me. You got to play me. And if you don't, you're going to get the sack. It's not like that. It's not that kind of situation. I see it as. For Zirkzee, I see it as a similar kind of situation. Zirkzee will probably leave in January. The only difference there is that, Cobby, there's a lot more attention on it because he's an academy player, because he's an English player. But no one's calling
Zirkzee. Not one person is saying.
Entitled.
I've seen a lot of people I've seen shout out all the big aggregators and stuff, doing some good stuff. A lot of their coverage of it has been real shame. He's a good lad. Like, actually, when he's playing, nice touch and stuff. Just simply, there just isn't enough games. So yeah, it's a sad one really. And Mount's there, and Cunha and Boomer are better than him. He's not better than Šeško. So yeah, I get it. But then when it's Cobby, one of our own, I'm not saying these aggregators are doing it, by the way. I'm just talking about the general consensus of what I felt. There's a lot of pushback to, he ain't got the stomach for it. Obviously, Zirkzee's even worse. He's only played, he played 60 minutes against Burnley, 10 minutes against City, 5 minutes against Brentford, and 8 minutes against Grimsby. So really, 82 minutes across the first 3 Premier League games and one EFL Cup game. Was he injured as well? On the bench.
Yeah, Zirkzee,
unused subs. I know
he missed a lot of pre-season, didn't he? Missed a lot of pre-season.
Yeah, he did. But he was on the bench against Arsenal and Fulham.
Yeah,
he was on the bench. He was back, but
like I said, he's just not getting. And it's no surprise as well that this stuff comes up when we go into international break, both of which Cobby's not in the England squad, is he? And Zirkzee's not in the Netherlands squad, as far as I'm aware. I don't think.
No, he's not.
No, they're both not in their international squad. So they're going. How many international breaks are there between now and the World Cup? They're going.
De Ligt ain't even in it.
De Ligt, you know what I mean? So naturally, they start talking to their agents during this time, or they go into quarantine because they're still training with the club, and they're like, "Shit, I'm not going." If Thomas Tuchel had to name his England squad tomorrow to go to the World Cup, Cobby wouldn't be in it. He wouldn't.
Whoa,
and that would scare him.
Yeah, and look, someone said that there's no guarantee that he leaves and then he does get in it and stuff, but it's just
No.
about playing. It's just about playing football. I think there's this misconception that if you endorse Kobe and his ambition to leave to go play, you're basically saying, this manager's clueless and this is one of the best midfielders in the whole of Europe and he's not playing for us. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't necessarily subscribe to like Kobe is the answer to everything and, if he was playing would be much better and stuff like that. I don't necessarily subscribe to it. Like, I do understand that Kobe's got a long way to go. I think that this system in particular, him playing in midfield in a 2 next to Bruno or next to whoever it may be in this particular system, I don't think we'll get the best out of him stylistically. Stylistically, someone like Adam Morton would suit this system better. Stylistically, someone like Elliot Anderson would suit this system better. So I do understand that within our team. That's what my thing with Kobe has been since Amorim has got here, is where on earth is he going to fit now? This is a problem for Kobe. That's all I've ever been on from minute one, from Ipswich Town, that first game in November, all the way to now. I've always thought the same thing, regardless of injuries, regardless of he wants to live. Before this was a big thing. I remember, Owen, when we was talking about the contract ages, like the first time this was a thing. And obviously your thing was very much, listen, I don't know why, he'll sign a new contract. I think it's safe to say now, he ain't signing shit. He ain't signing shit. Well, how would he? How? Not under this manager. No chance.
I was going to ask you this question because
he'd be an idiot too.
I think the contract stuff plays in the background, but I don't think the contract stuff is the reason he's not playing. Because this was kind of James alluded to on the red carpet saying anything like that, going, "Oh, maybe it's because they don't want to give him minutes if he doesn't want to sign a new contract."
No, it's not.
I think his reason for not playing is purely a square pegs and round hole scenario whereby Ruben Amorim just looks at him and goes, "He doesn't fit." And I then think the contract stuff in the background just makes it a lot worse.
That's just and he's got years left on the contract.
He's still got years left. So I think United will still be calm. United will still be. I still think he was. I don't see a scenario where Kobe Mainoo leaves permanently. I just don't think United. I just don't think United would sanction that unless it got to the point where he did have like a year left and they were like, shit, there's nothing.
Do you know why I think? You know why I think, Owen? You know why I think it's changed?
Because I don't see Ruben Amorim lasting that long. So I think it is going to be one of those ones where he outlasts the coach and then he ends up playing more games and he signs a new contract and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a different story, just because
of proxy, because Amorim won't be here.
Just time. I think he's going to probably outlast him.
Do I think Ruben's going to last the season?
Well, my prediction was still he'll be gone in November, and I still think that's probably the same. Looking at the fixtures, how they go. Because the further we get removed from the Sunderland game, and the more that the glow wears off of like, oh, we actually won.
Because we're in the wrong
we actually won. And then you go, okay, where are we at the moment? How good actually are we? What was the opposition that we were playing? All of that stuff. You go, bigger test to come.
You know why I don't think that will happen for Kobe? Because I don't think, even when it gets to the end of this summer, say Ruben wasn't here, I think he would still, having not played for a whole year, and let's assume he goes out on loan or whatever happens, as long as Amorim here ain't playing. I think he would need to see that new manager come in and then become a part of what's going on first before he even signed. So like the new season would need to start and his squad role be like ascertained. I don't think he signs a new deal, man. I just don't. Definitely agree with you though. Like if Amorim does leave, it does change everything. It does change everything.
I think football changes very quickly. I suppose it's just the thing we don't know is how sort of intense these negotiations have been behind the scenes. Because like you said, because it has been going on for, he's going to get a new contract before the Euros. He's going to get a new contract after the Euros. He's going to get a new contract at the end of the season. All of these sort of landmarks have come and gone. And you do wonder if, like, actually, what is the relationship between Manchester United and Kobe's reps and agents at this point? It might be completely shit. If you've been negotiating for the best part of like 2 years nearly on this sort of new contract and it still hasn't come to pass, I can imagine, the next time you come to the table, you'd be pretty frosty, to say the least, right? So maybe too much damage has been done in that regard. But ultimately, it's Cobby's call, isn't it? If Cobby says to his representatives or his agents, "I don't give a shit, get me a deal. I'm not leaving Manchester United," then he will get a deal. It will get done. So I don't know. I still think ultimately he stays. I still think he stays permanently because I think a lot will happen by the end of his.
Do you think he goes
contract.
in January with all this then as well?
I could see him possibly going out on loan, only if, because this is the other thing we forget is we were actively looking for a midfielder
towards
the last few days.
If we bring one in, then he's definitely gone.
Yeah, then I could see a situation where we bring in a loan and Cobby goes out on loan. You know, a bit like we were linked to Conor Gallagher, and I know it seems
maybe that was the reason we didn't let him go.
Exactly. You know, you're swapping Conor Gallagher for Cobby Mainoo. It might be something like that in January, or as I would say, January, where we're looking at, you know, someone comes in and then they're like, right, there's space for you, Cobby. You can go out on loan and.
I think so. I think the only reason he didn't leave, obviously, it was coming out in the last few hours, a few days that, you know, he really wants to push. He wants to go somewhere. You know, Napoli wanted to go to, and all this stuff, which we know. I think there's no smoke without fire, and we know 100%, like you did say there, the Conor Gallagher thing was real. I think if they could have got Conor Gallagher or someone last minute, I think they would have let Cobby go. That's just my theory. That's just what I believe. I'm not saying obviously, and if you don't agree with me, you're wrong. And I just think that, because to me that makes the most sense, because he was kicking up a stink towards the last week of the window, realizing that, you know, they've tried to go big for Baleba. They've tried, you know, I don't fit what's going on here. I ain't going to play. He wanted to leave. We know that as a fact. That's not opinion. That is a fact. He wanted to leave. And we know for a fact Man United tried to get Conor Gallagher with 1 game a week. So, you know, I think they would have let him go. And probably rightly so. We didn't secure that move for whatever reason. So we had to protect ourselves. At that point, we obviously were still in the Carabao Cup. You know, and you don't want to leave yourself, you know, if Cobby wasn't there immediately now, you got Cobby, Casemiro, you got Casemiro and Bruno, and then us just leaves Ugarte. That is leaving yourself light. Obviously, yes, Mason Mount can go back there and stuff like that, but just leaving yourself light. We still got a squad build. We still got to make sure we got options, right? Even though the options might not be where we want them to be, can't leave yourself short. So I just think it's a case of that. Amorim, I don't think Amorim hates Cobby or, you know, has it in for him. I just stick by what I said. I think he wishes the best for him and wants him to improve on the things that he might have set out for him. But ideally, like we know from what happens when a manager picks the team every week, don't fancy him, mate. That's it. It's as simple as that. He doesn't rate him in this system, either as a 10, because he chose to buy 2 new 10s and move our best 10 to central midfield. So that's what he thinks about the 10s. And then on top of that, Mason Mount's even above Cunha. So he loves Mason Mount. As long as he's fit, that's going to be his shirt to lose Mason Mount. If he just stays fit, I know it's a cliche, stay fit, keep playing good, you keep your shirt. But that really is one with this manager. If Mason Mount keeps doing the things that Amorim really likes that he does, he will play a lot of games. And it's actually Cunha who's got to raise it to say, I need that shirt off Mason Mount. I ain't coming to sit on the bench. Obviously, for us, it's a good problem to have 2 players jumping at the bit. But back to Cobby, no space in the 10s at all. And that's the only place where the manager said that he feels more comfortable there. He looks better there. He said it. I'm not making it up. Amorim said that last season.
I remember you said this about, I think it was Solskjaer and Ten Hag, and it's the same with Ruben, which is, you know, managers can say what they want in press conferences and in interviews or whatever. You get a real indication of what a manager thinks about a player when you look at what team he picks. Every weekend, does he pick the player or not? If he doesn't pick the player that regularly, regardless of what he's saying in press conferences, interviews, he's not having him. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the same with Cobby. Now, Amorim, in his interviews and his press conferences, he's been quite open actually about Cobby, and I don't think it's not like he doesn't rate him as a football player. I think he's very aware of his qualities and, you know, how good he is. But he's very open with saying the certain things that he feels Cobby has to improve in. The only issue is I don't know if Cobby can actually improve in those things that he wants him to improve in. I.e., you know, when he's saying, "Oh, you know, it's about distance covered with my midfielders and, you know, being able to progress with the ball forward and move quickly and all that kind of stuff." I'm like, I know Cobby's a young guy, but I'm like, I don't even know if he's physically going to ever be able to do that. I don't know if he's ever that kind of player.
He's not. And he's actually not. That's one thing we can't confuse ourselves with, which I'm definitely not. Even when Kobe was, I remember when Kobe was on the rise, and there was a few shows where I was like, yeah, I just hope we don't misprofile him and stuff. Like, he has to play with certain guys round him, and you can see some of his deficiencies versus his top attributes. Like, his top attributes are, you know, going to collect the ball off the back four, back three. He's very comfortable at that. Half turn, you know, evading challenges, getting away from people with a burst of acceleration or a little bit of strength on the ball. He's comfortable with the ball at his feet. He wants the ball. Ball progression. I think he's good over short distances, so he can accelerate with the ball, progressing the ball, win fouls. He can do that. If he's playing from deeper, I'm talking about. And obviously a little bit further forward, but he possesses that. Passing, I think he wants to pass. He can pass quite comfortably with both feet. Not huge distances, but within short spaces, he can progress the ball forward, no problem. He wants to try and pass forward. And I think his limitations has always been that. I know, like, because he's got the Kobe run, he's got the Kobe trot, hasn't he, where he does kind of look like he's kind of going slow. I see what people mean about that. But he can't cover... he's not one who's going to cover big distances. He's not one that you can leave on an island and say, right, we've got 2-8s ahead of you. I need you to just sit in front of this back four, back three, and marshal, dictate this whole game for me, please. He can't do that. He can't do that. And in a two-man midfield, he's got to be next to someone quite extraordinary with a lot of legs for it to work, for me personally. So his best setup with what we've seen is in a midfield three, either as like a right 8, left 8, you know, or just a flat 3-man midfield where you're all just, you know, central midfielders. You know, the old school 4-3-3. No one's an 8, no one's a 10, no one's a 6. We're all just central midfielders. He's good at that. And like Rap Heaven says there, good dribbler and good in tight spaces and press resistant. He's someone who can keep the ball really well. And that's what we do. That's why I say the technical level of our midfield, like if you put a bit of pressure onto Bruno in tight spaces, you might get out of it the odd time, but you'll probably lose the ball. Casemiro absolutely will lose the ball. Ugarte, no point even talking about in regards to that. But Kobe Mainoo is probably the best player we have at that one particular thing. Give me it in a tight space. I'll wriggle out of it. I'll get that pass off and we could go play. But it's the getting about the pitch. You know, Savage says he has no diagonal pass. Yeah, that big switch, that big skull switch or the big Gerrard switch, or that's not in his armory. That's not how he plays. He's a player who needs the ball quite a lot and can progress the ball if he's got options in a sort of not congested midfield, but there's bodies in there for him to bounce off and work off. And that's not how we play. It's not how we play. But they say, look at PSG's midfield. Which of them are athletic? How does Enrique make it work then? But you say that. But, mate, it's the willingness that's the shuttles. Remember I was saying I'm not sure about Kobe playing 10s in this system because of the shuttles he might have to do from in to out. Because he's got a lot of running to do. That's why Mason Mount's playing that position, because he presses and he's hounding people down. Kobe ain't doing that. Kobe ain't doing that in this system.
Well, and also it's about, like, you look at
those guys will. They will. They run around everywhere, bro.
PSG's midfield, but that is an example of buying players that fit exactly what the manager wants to do in that system, isn't it? I mean, you look at that midfield and look at, the players that they've moved on. I mean, Luis Enrique did one season with Manuel Ugarte, went absolutely not, doesn't fit the system. See you later. And then, then it's a case of, from Ruben Amorim's perspective, then do you go like, right, doesn't fit the system. See you later. The problem is, we always circle back to it. It's about winning games, isn't it? If we were regularly winning football matches, this would be it would still be a discussion point because it's an academy player, English player that's achieved a lot. But if we were winning games and we're, competing for the league or in the top 4 or 5, we'd be going, look, it's pretty shit for Kobe, but look, what Ruben's doing is working. The issue I think a lot of people have is when you are watching these games and we can't pass the ball and our midfield does look really shit and we go, but Kobe can pass it. Why can't he? Why can't he play? That's the problem. And it goes back to whether or not we think the system and the coach is fit for purpose, isn't it? Because if it was working, you couldn't argue against it. But it's not really working all that much. So you certainly can argue against it. And also, when Ruben's talking about Kobe has to improve this and he has to improve that, he's also picking players that are consistently not improving. They're showing the same mistakes every single week and still getting picked. You know what I mean? People look at like your Dallows, or people look at, when Maguire's playing in a high line going, that doesn't make any sense. Or people are looking at Bruno when Bruno's stinking out the joint going, What's going on there? Or the same way he's talking about how Kobe needs to improve in these areas, he also says that Bruno Fernandes basically doesn't have the discipline to play as a number 10 in his system, whereas Bruno Fernandes in the 10 has been, our most productive player for the last 5 odd years. Luke Shaw, as mentioned there as well. So I think that's also the part of it, is when you do hear these things said by the manager about Kobe, you sort of go, but it doesn't jive with other selections or other rationales given about selecting certain players.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's not.
No,
It's
no,
not.
exactly.
I just think this is Owen, bro. Honestly, I think we're not us two, but I just think us as a fan base, we're just overcomplicating this so much. The manager doesn't think he's the guy. That's it. That's it. And I said this a while ago, and people were like, "Oh, flex with baseless," just saying the thing. 2 months later, after the window, or however long it's been since the summer, he still ain't hardly played a game.
You should know better, Flex. With your platform, with your platform, spreading lies, lies.
Like, if you disagree, absolutely fine. But my thing is if you can't see that Ruben Amorim just don't rate him, he just don't rate him, and don't get me wrong, yes, Kobe Mainoo can be patient to prove him wrong and stuff. We have to think of it from the player side, guys. When a manager shows you he don't rate you by not picking you and tells you you're up against the captain to play, and we've actually seen that, because very rarely have we seen Bruno and Mainoo next to each other when these moves are made. Burnley, Mateus Cunha got injured. Bruno went one forward. Man City, was that for Bruno, actually? Or did they play side by side in that one? I can't remember.
I think Kobe. I think did he come on? He came on alongside Bruno against.
He might have come alongside in Bruno that one, but the game was a lost cause. Chelsea, it wasn't that. I think Bruno went to the bench that game, didn't he? He's only on for 3 minutes, so Bruno came off near the end, didn't he? Brentford, mate. Who knows where anyone was playing in Brentford when Kobe came on, and where Zirkzee came on when flipping Mason Mount was at left wing back and Bumo right wing back. Then Mason Mount was the 10. Then Kobe was who knows what it was, bro. And Sunderland, when Kobe came on, I can't remember who was that for. I can't remember. But anyway, very rarely is he playing, I'm saying, alongside him.
This is an interesting one. Ashley says here,
I knew he was going to say that.
Is he right not to rate him, though? Is he not good, or just for the manager? A genuine question to the chat, right? Genuine question. Like, Kobe, when we're not now going down the route of like Kobe's not good now, are we? Are we going down that route?
I think some people are. They're saying how good. He's not this. He's not actually that good.
I do think there is an element, because obviously it's been such a conversation for such a long time that now it's kind of been over. The pudding has been over egged, as it were. That like now when he is put in the team, because there's been so much spoken about him, it's like, so I told you he's not, Pele or anything like that. And it's like, wow, no one never said he was going to be Pele, or playing him in the team doesn't necessarily fix all Manchester United's issues, but it's now becoming a thing, isn't it? It's going to become so polarized. And this is one of the ones where actually toxic's probably quite a good word for it. Where it is a little, it is turning a bit toxic, because he's spoken about so much that he, in some people's eyes, is going to now become so good. He is so good, and he's being held back. And in other people's eyes, it's going to be he's actually dog shit. People just can't see it. He's rubbish. He's actually rubbish. And it's gonna kind of become. It is becoming kind of that. It doesn't. I joke with Channelboy Comics that says it doesn't have to be a thing, but it's becoming a thing. It is becoming a thing massively. Because when he comes on, like you said, with City, he's on with Bruno. We're like 3-0 down, and people go, right, so you're gonna.
He should have done more.
Now we're gonna see. You've been asking for Kobe and Bruno. This is what it's gonna be. And you go, we're 3-0 down. Nothing's gonna happen.
Exactly. And not every minute. Like someone said to me, you know what? Someone said to me. They added me in a thing on X. I just ignored it. It's like, because there was quotes from Rodrigo saying, listen, if I'm on the bench, just for 20 minutes, I try harder. If I start, I try hard. Basically like someone added me to say, see, but Kobe's too good to be on the bench, eh? Clowns, just someone being stupid. Mate, what's his name? Rodrigo's behind bloody Vinicius Jr., mate. He can't get a game. Kobe's behind bloody Ugarte. Shut up. Like, it's not the same, bro. It's not the same. And actually, that kid, what's his name? We was interested. Mustuan Tato. I can't remember how you say his name. Someone put it in the chat. The Argentine kid, I think his name. We was interested in him in the summer.
Oh yeah.
Mustuan Tano or whatever it is. He started quite well. It's good. But anyway, he's been playing on the right as well. Like, he's a good player. Like, fair play. You're just behind, greatness on one side and another kid who's doing really well. So you got to bide your time. Yeah. Not flipping Ugarte, you can't pass. Not an aging Casemiro, who actually is important to what we're doing. But it's a completely different set of circumstances. And we're losing every week. What are you talking about?
That's when I go back to it's the results.
What are you talking about?
We always go back to it. The results are always the one, isn't it? If we're winning games, you go, well, even if I like it or I don't like it, it's justified because it's working. When it's not working, that's when you go, well, surely maybe try something else, maybe do something to make it work, and it proves our point as well, that the fact that he is an academy player, the fact that he is an English player, does add extra part of the conversation, because the story is that Cobby and Zirkzee could be going. For Zirkzee, we go, it's unfortunate, Cobby. I can't believe this. It's the reactions are totally different. Because the circumstances are totally different. And I think also the one with Cobby, and this was kind of why I was pushing back to KG on Monday, is I think it's a totally unique situation, because, KG was bringing up like Lewis Skelly and other people or what have you. I'm sort of going, but the Cobby situation is just, the Cobby one is so unique because he did do so much in 9 months, and to then go to where he is now, that is a massive drop off. It's not like with other young players coming out the team, is what should happen. He played in the Euros final. He scored in the FA Cup final, won a trophy with the team. And 9 months after he made his first team debut for the club, it's incredible.
Also, you look at the stability of the club as well, right? Because
Miles Lewis Skelly,
because Miles Lewis Skelly, to be fair, KG saying like, well, he's not just trying to leave.
They're winning games.
Calafiori, exactly. The stability of the team is like, well, you're part of a team that wins every week, that's challenging for the big honours. There is plenty of games. There's 50-odd games plus. Arsenal will go deep in the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, etc., Premier League. You look at the injuries that they've had already. You look at how Arteta likes to change things and do things. He will get his moment. And already, like you said, he's been warned. He's been told by Thomas Tuchel, like, it's not enough just to be good around camp. Like, you're probably not going to be in the next one, bro. Like, it's not that if you don't play. So I think it's a bit of a different comparison, basically, because it's, and actually the plan with Calafiori was, when they first brought him in, he was supposed to be that guy because he's good.
And like you say,
but he had a lot of injuries, and then the
standard's higher, isn't it? Calafiori is one of the better defenders in the Premier League. On top of that, they're top of the league, winning every single game. There's no real pushback. Whereas it's us, you go, the fucking Ugarte's in the team. This team's like 10th. We finished 15th last season. Like, it's like you said, there's levels, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
his point was, to be fair, KG's point was that
just isn't comparable.
You can get a young player that's like not playing, and it doesn't mean they just have to leave. It means that when you get an opportunity, like, you have to earn the spot. Because I do get it in football in general. You can't spit your dummy out just because you're not playing, or you do have to take your. I'm going to show you in training. I think even Rio was sort of saying it. In training now, you got to show you're better than Casemiro. You got to show you're better than Ugarte and stuff. But the only problem I have with that in this situation, because overall in football, yes, but each situation is different. And like you said, I just think as soon as the manager made it abundantly clear by selection and by words that you are up against Bruno Fernandes, I don't see you as a competitor for Ugarte. I don't see you as a competitor for Casemiro. I see you as the like for Bruno. I just think that spelt it out for Cobby. And then you get the thing of the confidence. And people could say, well, he's playing for Man United, he's a pro. I can see it in him. He's got no confidence. He's cold as anything. Cold, mate. Came on against Brentford, made the mistake. Wasn't surprised to see him make that mistake. Came on against Sunderland. And listen, I'm not one for just like, look at a player's facial expression means, so you don't like the manager, this, that, and the other. But I don't know. He just looks a bit vacant, and I know he's quite a calm character anyway, but I can just feel it. It's just a feeling I have. Maybe nobody else has it, but looking at him, I can just see he's a young player who's just like, I ain't got much motivation now, man. And I know people can say, you play for Man United, that's the only motivation you need. Should be sometimes I don't work like that, man. And he will leave or go and express himself at another club, and we'll be saying again, look how he's playing, this, that, and the other. That's what will happen. So yeah, we'll see. Let's get through these super chats here. Show says fans will create a cult around a coach who can't win back-to-back league games, but criticize Kobbie and Zirkzee who don't even get a chance. I read that one already from Bruno. David T says the future Mainoo Garnacho link up. His future Mainoo Garnacho link up. As in what? He might go to Chelsea, or they were supposed to link up in the future and they were supposed to be the ones. Probably a bit of both. Terence says, I wouldn't put it past Chelsea to try and come in from as well. Terence Pace says, yeah. And he'd go. I think if there was a spot and it's like, well, Enzo Fernandez not really working out, we're going to look to Lavia's always injured. You know, I tell you what, get Kobbie. I think they'll try. Him and Caicedo.
They try, even though like you said, they've got a lot of players in that midfield. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they do have a lot.
Yeah. Santos as well.
They've already spent a shitload of money on midfielders,
mate. It's Chelsea. Money. It's Chelsea. Nothing's out of the realms, bro. Nothing's out of the realms. They flip bloody Buonanotte. They flip Gittins in the whatever it is. All of a sudden, they've just got more space to just do stuff. You know what they're like. We all know what they're like. Terence Pace says, if Mainee's aspirations is to be part of that England squad for the World Cup, then yes, he has to leave or loan. Rash did it, and he's being selected again. There you go, immediately. Larry said, Rashford, Garnacho, Kobbie all leaving under this manager. I'm sure people at Carrington are chuffed about the academy integration and pathway. Our academy record in the first team will be in trouble past January at this rate. And Ruben's already said he doesn't want to be the manager to, not.
I don't think that record will be in trouble, because even you get like Frederiksen and stuff like that on benches, or Tom Heaton on the bench. You know what I mean? Because it's about being in the first.
We've got loopholes.
Yeah, it's about being in the first team squad on a match day, isn't it? It's not even necessarily.
But does he mean as in players who? I think Larry means like the ones who can actually.
Oh, who's coming?
Kobbie's like the only one. Yeah, Kobbie's probably the only one who's like there who can play. But
who's coming through? I mean, because that was one thing you can sort of credit, I suppose, Eric Ten Hag with. That got Garnacho into the first team, got Kobbie into the first team,
even Elanga.
And I suppose the other part is Elanga was more.
Coming under Ralph, but he kept it going. Actually, no, he didn't, because he bought Anthony.
No, he didn't. He sold him.
He sold him. Sorry, my bad.
Elanga was more of a Ralph player, but what will be interesting, depending on how long Ruben Amorim lasts, is we've made all of these signings, these young players that are seemingly 1 or 2 years away from breaking into the first team. When push comes to shove, is he going to be the one to integrate them, or is he going to fall back on sort of more established names? Because you would hope with all of these young players that we have signed over the last 18 months, there should be this huge influx of, quality young players, or at least a couple of quality young players coming into the first team in the next year or so. So it'll be interesting to know or to see if that's what happens. I mean, I know that JJ Gabriel was only 15, was ridiculous. But even he's getting like they're going, obviously they want to tie him down to as long a term deal as possible. They've already started building him a box at Old Trafford that's going to be ready by like 2030 or something. They said ridiculous. And Ruben Amorim's already said, you're going to be training with us this season and all that stuff. So who knows? Because it's one thing to integrate them into training sessions. It's another thing to be, regularly playing them on a match day, Premier League games, especially when you can't win. It's easier to integrate youngsters into a winning team because putting them into the team isn't going to really affect the result that much. I can imagine Ruben Amorim might be like, I don't know, we lose games anyway. Putting them in the team, is that going to help them out? Because we've said that recently, haven't we? When people go, just play the kids, we go, would you want to play the kids in this shit? Would you want to negatively impact them that much?
Yeah, it's not a good environment for them to come into. It's not. Yeah. And I know that was massively sort of Kobbie centric. What we just discussed, because the Zirkzee one's like, we're all like,
I think he'll go. Zirkzee will go.
Yeah, because there is no. You talk about definitely not playing. You ain't playing, bro. You like you don't see it, and for me, he's never going to play. He's never going to play. Like he's just not. Let's take aside the fact that he didn't have a pre-season. Take that aside. He's a technically sound player who, given a run of games, could offer something in those 10 positions. But we've made a decision to go in a completely different direction. His confidence is going to be shot. Like you say, coming off for 4 minutes and 10 minutes, all this kind of stuff. he ain't gonna be able to do anything. He ain't gonna be able to do anything with one game a week. These guys have to leave. So with him and Kobe, and like I said, Kobe is one of the best young European talents coming up, and he's just sitting on the bench and can't get a game. To me, it's a travesty. It is, and they got to leave for their own good, mate. I'll be honest. I'm in the camp of damn right, Kobe, get the hell out of here. Like, I want you to stay because I want you to work here. I know how good of a player he can be in the right system, right manager, right coach, right setup. But that's not going to be here anytime soon. I really can't see it, and you are stagnating. So if you need to go on loan at the very least, I support it because we're losing games left, right, and center. I'm seeing guys play ahead of you who, let's be honest, aren't great, and he can't get a kick. So leave. That's my closing statement on that. Leave. No problem with it.
I think that Zirkzee will go in January. Maybe it's even a permanent one. United decide to spend the money because I still think we actually do have quite a busy January transfer window, more busy than we usually do. So Zirkzee, I could see him going on a permanent. Kobe, like I said, I think maybe he might go out on loan. Depends if we get a midfielder in January. I just don't think he leaves permanently. In a season where we've already sold Garnacho, Rashford's probably going to leave as well. I don't know if they'd want to be like, oh, we're just going to sell another academy player in January of all times. I think a loan might happen, but it depends on midfielders. And it depends what happens on with Ruben Amorim, because I still think that a pin's been put in Ruben Amorim for now. Give it a couple of weeks, and I think suddenly things are going to
when I was doing the Inside Devil show, and like I said on the red carpet, I was like, has felt very positive, like very, very positive, almost like everything's just gone. And I put myself into it where I kind of found myself sort of just forgetting a bit. And I think that comes out of being so scarred and being able to just go to watch a football game without there being any controversy. It felt really good, even though the bar is low against Sunderland.
These 2 weeks of just not being miserable.
You know, if we'd have lost against Sunderland, it would be like, is it this window?
Yeah.
What the managerial list, or oh no, 100% backing, or this, that, and it would have been so much stuff. But I feel like because we won, and the manner of the win where there were so many individuals to speak about, it takes us away from like all of the big problems. And like you say, you lose against Liverpool, we are back right where we started again. You know, don't win against Brighton, we are back where we started. Or lose against Liverpool, but win against Brighton at home. It's just the same thing. Like, it's just the same thing. Like, what we have been doing over this whole period is we've won some games here and there. But like you said, we ain't got back-to-back wins. We've been around 13th to 15th the whole time. I think if Ruben stays, it will just be like that. We will win some football matches, just not very many and not in a row. So, yeah, I don't know, man. You're right. We do have to be careful not to get into this bubble of positivity. Not to say like, come on, everyone, let's go back to being negative. Remember we're shit.
Not.
Because it feels wrong to do that, but it does feel a little bit odd. You don't really know how to feel because you can't really over-celebrate like something like Sunderland. In the moment, on the day, you speak about all the players individually and say, Sonny Loman's finally number one. Mason Mount, brilliant. Yeah, this, that, and the other. Ahmad and Boomer down that side. Sheska off the mark. But then the closer you get to Liverpool, and it will happen, it's going to dawn on us that we're going to Anfield, bro. Like, KG was, I don't know if he was like, how much would you bet? Like, would you bet 5 bills, 6 bills, like, to guarantee a win? You know, Lil Yo-Yo was like, maybe £1,000. Would you pay that to guarantee a win? And I was like, KG, yes or no? Do you think we're going to win? Because he's like, Flex, I need to speak to you. Like,
wait, would I pay a grand so Man United definitely beat Liverpool?
Yeah.
Would I pay a grand so that like fix that game so we definitely win?
Yeah.
Yeah, pay a grand.
But we're saying, how much would you do it out of your own money? Like, it's not like how much would you do it? KG was like, well, 600, then I'll have a whip round for the grand. It's a bit much. Like, it's just a league game. Like, it's not final. It's like, I was like 525
in like 10 years. Or how was
10
it?
years.
Yeah, decade.
Yeah.
Decade.
Yeah. 2016 last time, so 9 years.
I'm paid a grand every 10 years. All right. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, but I was the one shitting on it, going, KG, listen, I'm sorry, bro. I ain't seen no evidence to suggest we can go to Anfield and win. So
but you're saying it's a bit of a waste. assessment, basically, of like
I'm saying that.
where's the long-term return in that, basically.
Well, yeah, no, it would just be instant gratification. I know that.
Yeah.
Like, it would just be the fact, and I would love it. The proper Kevin Keegan, love it if we haven't won this. So we want it so bad. But I'm like, guys, relax. We do want this so bad, but I'm trying to protect us all. Every time we do this, people, we've been here before. They find a way to fuck it up. They find a way. And, all of this, I know you was touching on it. Good time to play them and stuff like that. Also a good time to reignite their season. I think they've had 3 away games on the bounce.
Yeah.
Back at Anfield. Let's put this right. It's against that lot.
Yeah.
This could be actually one of the worst times to play them as well as best.
Senna Loman's masterclass. The Iron Dome.
I hope you're right. Really quickly, this Saudi friendlies thing, really quickly.
Yeah, so it looks like we could be making money if I don't know. It's coming from the Mail saying that Man United could bank more than £10 million if they strike a deal to visit Saudi Arabia this season. They have 3 options: a 3-way tournament against Al Nassr and Al Hilal at $5 million a game plus prize money, an exhibition game against a Saudi all-star team for around £5 million, a visit with the Saudi royal family, or GEA, which is the General Entertainment Authority, which Turkey Al Sheikh is the head of, to hold a warm weather training camp in Riyadh and play a one-off game for around £5 million. Any option will likely see Saudi picking up the tab for travel, accommodation, and warm weather training facilities. So, things could still happen.
The other day when we were like, absolutely not, and then someone goes to Saudi and gets injured for what? But the way we might be in the league, where it's like, what are we doing? I don't care anymore. Like, go get some money. Yeah,
take the money.
Wouldn't mind going Saudi mid thing when nothing's going on.
That's when they do it, I suppose. For instance, I suppose it would speak volumes about where the state we're in. Where let's say it's an FA Cup weekend. Let's say it's an FA Cup weekend and everyone's playing FA Cup and we're already out of it by that point. Yeah, and you go, what Man United doing that weekend? Are they playing FA Cup? No, they're in Saudi playing games for a lot more money. Yeah, but
I mean, I just don't care anymore, man. Whatever.
Take the money.
I'm so much more. Before I was outraged by that, going absolutely not. And then Cunha comes back injured because we've gone to Saudi and thing, which I get, but because I feel like we're playing for nothing in the league and we ain't done anything, I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I need to calm down. I'm just like, I don't care.
Depends. I suppose it depends when it is, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Larry says uncle is asking me.
Point, was it like January where there's a couple of weeks off, like around
Christmas time, where there's no game, off. So it's like you do need a bit of rhythm. Warm weather training
warm weather training.
Arteta does it all the time, and they're amazing for it. Going to Dubai for warm weather training. May as well play a game, and you're there, innit? Larry says, Uncle is asking me what Carrington has done for us in the last decade. What has buying players and spending over £1 billion done for us in the last decade? This football club was built on Carrington, and we are losing that soul. An international says, not enough said on how good Joshua Zirkzee is. Shame if he leaves. Yeah,
I like Zirkzee.
Yeah, I had a difficult start to my relationship with Zirkzee.
Yes,
but I corrected that. And I do like him. But way off it now. Way off it. Okay, guys, there you go. Smash the like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Take care, guys. We will see you very, very soon. Take care. Peace.